There's a moment in everyone's life when they quietly ask themselves, am I worth anything? Most people never say it out loud, but almost everyone feels it. This is the story of a man who spent his whole life running from that question, until the day he finally dared to know his own value. His name was Arav. To the world, he was ordinary, the kind of person you'd pass in a hallway without noticing. He wasn't loud, he wasn't bold, he wasn't the type to demand attention. But the truth was, he lived every day feeling like background noise in his own life. When coworkers took credit for his ideas, he said nothing. When opportunities passed him by, he told himself others deserved them more. And when he looked in the mirror, he saw someone replaceable. To him, confidence was a language he had never learned. One morning, an unexpected email arrived. His manager wanted him to lead a presentation for an important client. Arav read the email 3 times. This had to be a mistake. Why him? There were people smarter, louder, more talented. But the email didn't go away, and neither did the fear. That evening, as he walked home through the old market, he passed a tiny antique shop he had never noticed before. The kind of place where stories hide in dusty corners. Inside sat an elderly shopkeeper polishing a wooden box. The man looked up and said, "You look troubled." Arav laughed softly. "It's nothing, just a work thing." The shopkeeper smiled. Nothing weighs heavier on a man than the belief that he is worth nothing. Arav froze. How did this stranger read him so clearly? The shopkeeper reached behind the counter and took out a small, worn-out brass coin. "Tell me," he said, "how much do you think this is worth?" Arav shrugged. "Maybe 10 rupees?" The man shook his head. "Take it to the jeweler across the street. Ask him." Arav carried the coin to the jeweler. The jeweler held it up to the light, examined its edges, brushed dust from its surface. "This," he said, "isn't ordinary brass. It's a rare collector's piece. I can give you 10,000 rupees for it." Arav stood stunned. 10,000 for a coin he almost threw away in his mind? He rushed back to the shopkeeper, but the old man didn't look surprised. The shopkeeper said calmly, "You valued it at 10 rupees because you only glanced at it. The jeweler valued it at 10,000 because he understood it." He leaned closer. "Tell me, Arav, why do you let people who barely know you decide your value?" Arav had no answer. The truth hit him like a wave. The shopkeeper continued, "You walk around this world like that coin, thinking you're ordinary, insignificant, replaceable, because you've only seen yourself through the eyes of people who never looked closely." He placed the coin in Arav's hand. "The world doesn't give you value. You reveal it." That night, for the first time, Arav sat down not with doubt, but with determination. He prepared like someone who belonged at the table. He practiced like someone who deserved to be heard. And slowly, he began to see what he had ignored all these years: his effort, his honesty, his ideas, his potential. He wasn't perfect. He didn't suddenly become fearless. But he took one powerful step. He dared to value himself. When the day came, Arav felt nervous, but he still stepped forward. He spoke clearly. He explained confidently. He didn't apologize. He didn't shrink. And the room listened. When he finished, the client shook his hand and said, "Why haven't we seen you lead before?" Arav smiled, because this time he knew the answer. Most people go through life like Arav did, measuring their worth by how others treat them, how loudly others speak, or how silently others ignore them. But that's not your value. That's just their perception. Your value isn't determined by your salary, your marks, your job title, your past, your mistakes, or the people who failed to see your worth. Your value is determined by one thing: the truth of who you really are. And the moment you dare to know that truth, your life changes. So today, look at yourself the way the shopkeeper looked at that coin. Not for what the world sees, but for what you truly are. A story waiting to be told. a voice waiting to be heard, a value waiting to be recognized. Dare to know your value, because the world needs what only you can give.